one and only Seyi Lawrance, aka Seyi Law. I think I now know how you combine how you combine the name now.
Thank you.
All right, it's been a rainy day. How this rain for your side?
Well, it's been raining, but then we've got to do what we have to do.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So once again, thank you for honoring this invitation, and thank you for joining in.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, you thought I was going to go live on my own page.
Yes, no. Yes, that was what I thought.
Yes. So we switched to this page since we started after some time. So this is not an interview. This is not just a mere chat. Yeah. So this, like I told you, this is a classroom, and today we are honored to have you as our lecturer. So
thank you for having me. Thank you.
So we're going to be asking you a few questions. So what we are doing is just to learn, to hear your own story. So what we do on this platform is to share stories, to share journeys by the captains of the industry, what they did along the line, the challenges they faced, and how they've been able to overcome them. Now, this is where we start. I like a post on your platform that says, everybody wants a piece of cake, but forget the stress of the baker. Seyi Law, 1878. That 1878, I know it's from your ancestor. We'll talk about that one later. Now, at some point, you were selling recharge card.
Yes.
Maybe you added this cake. We don't understand now. So that tells me it wasn't an easy journey. So take it from that point of selling recharge card, and how did the journey to?
Okay. Okay. Let me start this way. One of the things that I always tell people is that sometimes we necessarily don't know what we want to do or what we want to become. We only just assume that this is what we want to do. A lot of the times you ask anybody who is just probably in primary school, secondary school, what do you want to become in life? And then we had all our aspirations on becoming medical doctors, lawyers, engineers, you know, and there is little of us who really want to become actors, actresses, or probably entertainers, or jesters, like comedians were called back then, you know. And so it was almost the same with me when I was in secondary school. It was more about my physics, chemistry, biology, English and mathematics, you know, your geography or further mathematics and all those stuff. And so it was for me trying so hard to study as much as I can, you know, with my line, you know, with my mind set at becoming a medical doctor. And so comedy wasn't even an option. Comedy was no option at all, comedy only came as a result of passion later in life. It was just as a result of passion. And I'll explain. At some point, you know, when they talk about the rot in the education sector of Nigeria, educational sector of Nigeria and all this stuff, somehow I blame people like me too, you know, for contributing to that rot, because when I was in SS2, I remember I was already doing machinery as one of those people who writes exams for people, you know. I remember back then they used to take us to places like Langbasa, Ekpe, Baduri, you know, and they put us in a house and then they bring questions and we write those answers and all those stuff. And so it wasn't so difficult for me then to have been able to secure admission into the university twice to study medicine. But, you know, the way God orchestrates the lives of a man is his own will. I remember it was at a point where my mom had serious financial issues and all this stuff. And so it was almost impossible to be able to forge ahead. And then I had to do all sort of jobs, you know. We're doing bricklaying job at one time, packing, you know, you go to sites. Now, you know, something that everybody talk about now, we are going to sites to make our 2K. How much were we paid then? I think it was 500, was it 500 naira daily or 300 naira daily then?
You carry block, you mix cement.
Yes. You help them to, they offload blocks. You help them to carry the blocks to where the bricklayers will be needing them. And you also go what is it called? You also pack sand.
Yeah.
The sand that we pack then. And then there's also this thing that we call filling.
That's the red sand, yeah.
That's the red sand, yeah. With some broken stones and all those stuff. And then and then we had what is this thing called? Then the mixed cement and then the granite also. You know, there's the one that mixed with granite for concrete, and then there's the normal cement and sand for plastering and all those stuff. So I remember my first time at that site when the other bricklayers who were actually used to the business. These guys, we were going to eat, you know, after, you know, probably had breakfast before you come to work. And then when during the break, you were going to eat. These guys were buying yam and rice with beans together. And in my mind, I was like, is it that you people don't know anything about balanced diet or something? You know? But then, by the time we watch for some
they will now add bread. They will add bread. They'll be eating it with bread.
You know, by the time we had some few more hours of work, and then I was hungry again. And that was when they told me that, okay, if you don't know the reason why we combine our food like that, now you know. You know. And then there is the food we call 6 to 6, you know, which is the mixture of fufu and eba. You know, they mix fufu and eba together. We call it 6 to 6. Then you collect the combination of 2 soup, ogbono and egusi. You know, and so
I thought I was the only one in that school of thought. So now,
now you know you're not the only one in that school of thought. So it was basically a time where, you know, they had to survive.
Yeah.
And so after doing that for a while, my elder brother called me. He's got a business center at Relay. You know, I had to leave Ebutemeta. Before leaving Ebutemeta, I had gone to, there was a time I got a job that I was doing a job of 5,000 naira monthly. And 6 of us were dependent on that 5,000 naira. And out of that 5,000 naira, 2,300 was my monthly transportation fee. So 6 of us were living on 2,700 naira and every other extra that comes in for the whole month. It was a tough period, you know. And then my brother called, you know, he had finished school then, serving, was able to raise some money, started a business center to Relay bus stop. and he had invited me to come and take over the business and all those stuff. So I'd gone to Relay to take over the business, and we're doing that. While we were doing that, I was also taking time at that time to go to the National Art Theatre to see if I could get a role in any of those movies. You know, when you're going to the National Art Theatre, then the Artist Village, very close to the news agency of Nigeria, at the National Art Theatre. You know, we go there with your 5x7 picture in your pocket to see if you can get a role in the movies. And so I was doing that for almost 2 years, between 2003 to 2005. And so one time sometimes I skipped going there. I remember one guy that I met there who is also a comedian now, MC Danfo. I remember while we were going there together, this guy got a role in one movie. And when your friend gets a role in a movie and nothing is coming, it kind of feels somehow, it's like you're being left behind and other stuff. So one day I had gone to the business center and, I'd done my normal stuff, and I'd gone home at about 11 p.m. or so. And when I got home, we saw a movie of Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs or something. After we saw the movie, I made a joke from that movie. And my cousin, who happened to be a member of a music group then, a gospel music group then, said, do you know that people are making money from this thing that you just be doing for us at home, be making us laugh? And that was how he told me that, okay, they were going to perform at a church. That was precisely in August 2005. And we're going to perform at a church, that he wants me to come along, that when I get there, I will perform. And from there, I will reintroduce them on stage. And that was how I went. They introduced them. I went on stage that day. And believe me, I had an awesome time on stage, despite not having a proper knowledge of what it takes to be a comedian. But I had an awesome performance. And somebody from there, after I came down from the stage, approached me and said, we're doing something in our church next month. We'd like you to come and do this same performance. And that was how the journey to comedy started.
Amazing. Baba, you don't see, your eye, this your eye don't see. Okay, let's take it further. We once had Emeka Smith, and he mentioned that when you won the AY open mic, that both of you, put in together. I think you won the first one.
Yeah, I won the first edition. And Emeka won the first one was in September. I won that edition. Elenu won the second edition. Shakara won the second edition. Elenu won the third edition. And then Emeka won the fourth edition, which was in December 2006.
Amazing. Okay, now, what, because we don't have that longer time, let's take it from that AY winning. What did that change in your career?
Well, you see, prior to the AY's open mic comedy competition, because sometimes if we skip the process and we just go to the place where we begin to celebrate success, people might not really understand what it actually took you to get there. And the reason is because there is one particular story that I love to always share as a form of encouragement to younger people coming into the industry. There's this Yoruba adage that says, which means a dump site that refuses to take debt will never be full, or a trash can that refuses to take debt will never be full. And so I try to translate that into an experience that I had that changed my life forever. Emeka had invited me to come to his church because that particular event, that person where I did my first performance, invited me to come to his church. When I got to that church in September, that was when I met Emeka Smith. And after Emeka saw my performance, Emeka was the MC. He had been into comedy before then. After Emeka saw my performance, he told me that they were doing something in his church. He would love me to come. And when he invited me, the day of the show, unfortunately, I didn't have money. You know, I had to trek from the place called McCollum Street in Ebutemeta to Thomas Animashan Aguda in Surulere. I still remember the route I took that day. You know, from McCollum Street, trek through Glover Street to Muritala Mohammed Way, to Bonu Way, to Costain, that's the Papa Road, then to Buries. From Buries, you link Eric Moore to Jimo Dutola, then to Doni bus stop, to Relay bus stop, via into Coca, cross the Coca Bridge to Aguda in Surulere. You know, and I remember, you know, when you go through some things, there are some of the things you look back to and you tell yourself, this is a reason why you should not be proud. This is the reason why you should not look down on anybody. This is the reason why you should be compassionate about other people. And then I had gone to Emeka's church. I got there. Emeka was excited to see me. He held me by the hand, say, come, come, come. Let me go and show you the other guys that will organize this program together. I'm a member of a group, the Isaacs, a drama group. They were doing their show that day. So he took me to them, sat down, and Emeka brought me in and he said, oh, this is the guy that I told you guys about. He's very funny, this one and that. And then I remember, like, the leader of the group looking at me from head to toe, and I was like, Emeka, no, no. This thing don't climb our altar now. This thing don't climb our altar now. I just say, no, Emeka, why they do like this now? This thing don't feel. And you know, when he said that, I could have felt bad and I could have left. But you know, I had seen the crowd in the church and I saw it as another avenue to make a name for myself, you know, to be known. So I accepted all those abuses and all those stuff. And I tell people, one of the things that I tell people, be ready, be available, seize the opportunity, and give your best at all times. Be ready, be available, seize the opportunity, and give your best at all times. And so after they had said that, I could have left, but I was walking beside them as they were moving here. I was just going around with them. And then because they were waiting for Jedi, who was their guest comedian that day, to come and perform, you know, there was an opening during the show. They exalted some of their comedians and all those stuff. And so there was an opening and they said, who can fill in the gap? And because I was available at that time, mind you, I was ready for the show, but then availability was another thing. I was available at that time, and they just said, okay, let him fill the gap. And that was how they introduced me to go on stage. And when I went on stage,
you killed the show.
I had about 4 standing ovations in between that performance. And by the time I finished, Jedi, who was their guest comedian, was already in the hall. He ran on stage. He heard me literally trying to carry me, saying, man, this is a raw talent ready to explode in this country. This is this and that. And he said all those lovely words, prophesying into my future without knowing. And by the time the show was over and we're seeing Jedi off to his car, he had his hand on my shoulder while the people who invited me to the church were walking behind us.
Wow.
You know, I was ready. I was available. I seized that opportunity. I performed my life out like my life depended on it. And I gave my best, you know. And so Jedi was the one who introduced me to AY. And then, you know, because of lack of fund, AY decided to give Emeka Smith and myself the form for free. Other people paid for the form. And that was how we went for the day of the competition. We went through the auditions. We were selected among the top 10. And the day of the competition, I became the first winner. And like they say, the rest is history today. That opened me to a new door. But that wouldn't have happened if I had not met Jedi, you know. And so as much as I give all the kudos to the platform of AY and so much respect to AY, I always want to mention that aspect where I met Jedi, who saw Hello.
Yeah, you're back. Yeah, you're back.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So it was an opportunity that I don't take for granted, you know, because after winning the AY's Open Mic Comedy competition, I had to put in the necessary work to remain at the top of my game. And you know, I started getting to know other comedians, and I saw that one of the things that was common amongst comedians then was every little person talking and making references to worry, for warrior, this man, this worry guy, this, you know. And so you could ask a maker. At that point, I told the maker, I said, Emeka, we need to do something different. I don't want to talk about everybody they call worry. See, how they add Yoruba to my comedy. Yoruba people funny. You know, and that was how I had to change my style. I started adding Yoruba to some of my jokes, you know. And also I was doing something that was not conventional, doing some stammering jokes and all those stuff. And so because of that, by the time we had finished and we were leaving, people always remember, oh, now you be that boy where they always talk about Yoruba people. Now you be that boy where they always, and so that distinguished me amongst my peers at that time. And it helped my road to success, you know, to being better known. And so, because other people are easy to come on stage and perform and say, thank you very much, my name is Emeka Smith. Thank you very much, my name is Eleno. I wasn't opportune to, it wasn't my kind of style, actually. And so because of what I coined for myself, it built some kind of uniqueness. And, you know, after a while, everybody started doing the Yoruba stuff. And I had to keep improving on myself every time, rebranding myself. And like I always say, self-development is key to your business, physical, and well-being. You know, to your business growth, your physical growth, and even your well-being. Self-development is key, because when you open yourself to information, you take better decisions.
Fantastic. We're having a series of comments, gratitude from our listeners. Thank you for enlightening us here. And you have said, I like this that you said, you know, be ready, be available, seize the opportunity at all times. If you are taking offense from those guys who look down on you, perhaps Jedi wouldn't have seen you, and what followed after may never come. All right, quick one. Now, I have followed you for some time, and you have answered one of the questions I was going to ask you, that you just do your stuff. You are a Yoruba man. And because, you know, I went to the University of Benin, where they speak Pidgin English. Bright and I, at some point, we were in school, basket, you know. And you just stick to
Hello.
Aha, you're back. All right. So I said you stick to your Yoruba, despite the fact that you know, Pidgin English is a commonplace. It's like the lingua franca for stand-up comedy. And one thing I also noticed about is that your body language is very strong, right there on stage. There's this joke that you did on. So the next question, you're going to take it from there, because we're trying to be practical now. To see how you get your materials, so that the young ones that are coming can understand that all the materials they need, they are all around them. They just need to just, you know, take it and fine tune it. You talk about 3 places where Nigerians are humble. Number 1, the embassy. You know, I have been at Etiebet's place, the UK embassy in Ikeja here, right from you know how the air hostess struggle to tell people to switch off their phone on board. But right there's a switch off your phone. And when you get inside, you know the way you will sit down, they will say move here. No matter how old you are. Now, let's take that as a case study. How did you come about that joke?
You know, one of the things that I trained myself to do is that when I enter into a place, instantly, I think of 5 things that I can use to crack a joke. Instantly, once I enter a place, 5 things. What are 5 things that I can use to crack a joke? The moment I came on your live video, one of the things that struck me is the artwork that is behind you.
Oh, okay.
And the moment I saw the artwork, I said, this woman with red lipstick. If we just kiss the neck of your cloth now, you get home. There is problem at home. You will explain where you got that lipstick. You know? And then I just told myself, I said, okay, you need to open your eyes more so that people will not think we are sleeping during this interview. And then I look at my own camera and I said, even with all the light, your blackness still remains the same. I pray that never will not take light. You know, this is me to you instantly. Instantly,
just from here.
As a comedian, when you train your brain to be able to pick 5 things to crack a joke from your environment instantly, it is one of the things that I try to do. And so during my first time at the embassy, I was observant enough to see how Nigerians are very respectful. You understand?
Yeah.
I saw that, and you cannot take away that. And then another place where Nigerian is respectful, you can't take it away from Nigerians. If you are going to the toilet and somebody is using the toilet before you, and it's almost coming, the way you speak to that person, you speak with absolute respect. If you can just be a job or that, just about that, you know, or maybe you are stranded, you are purging, and you get to a house. You don't want to do it in your body. The way you respect the people in the house, sir. Please, sir. Just, you know, the respect, you know. And then when you get to the bank, and then you discover that you don't have a pen. And you want to quickly join the line. Please, sir. Can I? Sir, you don't understand, sir. You know, so this is me observing the places that I've been, you know, and then you just know that you cannot take it. Then when you see Nigerians at the army barrack, we have respect for all that.
They behave,
the ground where they mark that walk this way, Nigerians will never walk on the lawn, but go to other places. Is it not just to cross here to that place? Is it just to this crossing that will spoil the grass? But enter Abu Barak, you will see that if they tell them to walk on stone, Nigerians will walk. You know, and so that is just me. And so to the young and, you know, comedians, you may try my technique and it might work for you. When you enter into a place, just try. Look for 5 things instantly that you can use to crack a joke. And one of the things I tell people is that anything can be funny. Anything can be funny. If I say it is not funny, I will laugh at myself and tell people, I think say this thing go funny, so you don't funny like this. That might be what will drive people to laugh. And so that is anything can be funny. Anything can be funny. Just take advantage of it. If the thought hits you, then there is a prospect that it can make somebody laugh.
Okay, how do you go about with writing material to write down, you know, some of these ideas when they hit you, so that you don't forget them? Then what are the processes of now, you know, adding the extras to it before you deliver it on stage?
I think I'm probably the worst to advise people when it comes to writing down their jokes. Because if you ask Emeka Smith, Emeka will tell you. Sometimes there is this comedian MC Pato. Pato will tell you, Pato, sometimes when we see, Pato will start reminding me some jokes that are cracked from 2005 and so many other places. And I'll be like, I don't forget, because I don't know how to write down my jokes. That is the truth with me. I don't know how to. There are people who have their joke archives. And that is why sometimes when people are saying some things, I just laugh, because I go to places, I see these young comedians cracking some of my jokes, and I'm like, these people don't even know the origin of this joke, you know? And then, by God's grace, I have so many people who have become popular or more known because they crack my joke, you know? And for me, sometimes we thank God. We thank God, you know. You don't want to fight over it. I tell people that I'm the voice of Nigerian comedy, not because I'm trying to be proud, but because 80% of the skit that is done in Nigeria today has my voice in it. That voice you hear in almost all the skits today that say, yay, yay, yay. That is my voice. That is my voice. So if that is my voice, and God has given me the grace that 80% of the comedy skits you listen to today has my voice, I could decide to go and trademark that voice, or submit the trademark for that particular voice to YouTube, and every skit that had that voice will pay me 30% of their revenue as a third party. But if I do that, what do I, you know? Sometimes we just want the younger ones to grow, you know,
to leverage
you know, like I always tell people, you leverage on other people's creativity to build your way to your own originality, which is very key, you know. And which was why when I saw somebody like Mr. Macaroni, when he started out, he was doing his skit, and I had a skit idea, I called him, I shared the idea with him. We shot the skit, and he posted it on his platform. I didn't take credit for writing the skit. You know, everybody knows him as the owner of the skit. I could come out and say, oh, this is my skit. I wrote this. The popular freaky and spicy comedy skit that I did with Mr. Macaroni was written by me. Everything was done, but it was written by me. And I gave him the idea and we shot it. You know, I could say, okay, let me take the pride and say, oh, this is my skit and all those stuff. But would it have helped him grow to where he is today? Do you understand? If I had done that, people would have seen it as another Seyi Lawrance skit. They wouldn't have seen it as a Macaroni doing something with Seyi Lawrance. Do you understand? And he probably wouldn't have exploded as he ought to. So sometimes, you know, you bring down your own size so that other people can feel the space that is left in between, you know, and then you celebrate the success that, oh, I'm a part of this person's success. That itself gives me enough joy. And which is something that I actually learned from Jedi. Jedi, many of us who became known today at one point met Jedi, who introduced us to other people that gave us a platform that, and if Jedi decide to start bragging and we probably, or he decide to put us under him, we probably wouldn't have grown this much. You know, it was something that I learned from him. And so for every opportunity that I have to reach out to other people, I try to do it also because somebody also did that for me. You know?
Wow. All right. As we try to wrap up, what are your tips for the young ones coming in this industry? What are your advice?
Like I always tell people, you know, you can't do without mentors. You know,
mentorship.
You know, you can't do without mentors. One, when I joined the industry, I started seeing people in the industry and I started learning their uniquenesses. You know, I started learning their uniquenesses. I saw the fatherly figure that Alibaba possessed as a person that was able to bring people under him to build an industry. I saw the event packaging ability of AY. I saw the audibility of Gordon's. When he speaks on the microphone, you listen, you know. And then I saw the dexterity of I Go Die. I saw the branding that Basketman brought to the comedy business. I saw the use of English by the likes of Teddy Babyface, Basot Taria Jr., Jedi. I saw the descriptive ability of a Gandoki and a Steve Harvey. You know, and so what I try to do is understand different people's uniquenesses and bring them into a body called Seyi Law. And that is what I advise people to do. Let the people who have succeeded in that field learn about their uniquenesses and try to embody those uniquenesses. And then put your own originality into it to make you unique, to create a brand that is you. And that is why I tell people that the you in you is the real you. If you discover the you that is in you and you refine it, you make a unique you.
Wow. Amazing. All right. Are we at the point of embarking on this Yoruba delivery? Have you ever thought perhaps it will not be acceptable, or what were the challenges?
You see, every time you talk to me, I make references to Emeka Smith.
Yeah.
And that is because we worked together. We walked this journey together.
He said so, yeah.
Emeka Smith and I, we went to places we trekked this Lagos. We went to places we went to schools like OAU in Ife. We went to places like Western University, where the organizers of shows ran and left us stranded in the hall. You know, several places, you know. And one thing that Emeka Smith will tell you is that I am a risk taker. A risk taker. Every time, sometimes we are driving, we are in the bus, we are going to a show. You understand? And then while we are in the bus, I see something happen. And I tell Emeka, I go use this thing crack joke when we reach there. Emeka will say, hey, you don't go use your joke where people know you don't go use your joke. Hey, if you don't go funny. And because I was always ready to take that risk. I didn't care what was going to come after. I tell Emeka, if I take this risk, we don't funny. I crack these jokes, them, funny. I go beg the organizer, now I come back again. I'll crack my own joke where I know say go funny. And that is one of the things that Basketman knew me with. One time we went to Benin to perform somewhere. Everybody was having a bad day at that show in Benin. I came out first, I cracked joke. The thing no work. I went backstage. You know, everybody just the verse. I went back and met Basketman. I said, bros, I beg. I don't get the kind of vision where they like. Bros, I beg. Now God, I beg you. Just do this. Don't give me 5 minutes, man, I go back. And then he gave me that 5 minutes. I went back and I killed the show. You know, I've always, you know, I was just determined to succeed. You know, so I just believe that if I say this thing, no, once it strikes me, I say, Emeka, I go use a crack joke. Emeka go say no. One time we went for an event, asked Emeka Smith. It was a church, they're doing some program in December or something. And Emeka tried to do freestyle with chin-chin on the table.
Okay.
When Emeka tried the freestyle with the chin-chin on the table, it didn't work. Do you know what I did? When Emeka came back, I said, Emeka, when you introduced me, I said, now this chin-chin, where did this table? And granite, so I want to take a crack joke for almost 30 minutes. You know, Emeka say, hey, you see, as I tried the chin-chin, the thing no work. You see, say I wrong. Bro, when Emeka called me, that chin-chin, I just went to one table where some girls were eating that chin-chin. I just collected the chin-chin from the girls then. I just dey here. Anybody we see on the outside go teach on our Porsche. See the way on they chew chin like how they eat corn. See the way. And I used that chin to crack joke for almost 30 minutes.
Wow.
People want that chin and granite. I say by the time you chew this chin one with granite, this event organizer, they want enjoy now. They know so by the time I chew this one for 15 minutes, you'll drink water from the beginning of this show to the end. I say by the time you do that one, you know if you eat their food. Oh, you know, I used that thinking for 30 minutes. And so I was an encouragement to myself. I was my own cheerleader. And when I have a bad day, I talk to myself. You know, I always want to put my bad day behind me. I talk to myself. I say, Seyi, you mess up. You mess up. Go and do something to cover up this mess up. One time I got an event. This was 2007 December. These people said they were doing end of year party and they had invited me to come and perform. I didn't know they were in the club. They only had a table in the club. There was noise everywhere and they told me to start cracking jokes. It wasn't an experience that I had had before. And so it was difficult for me to make them laugh. I felt bad. I wasn't having it. I wasn't happy. I didn't even go back to collect my balance. As I was leaving that place, I said, you never foresaw an environment like this. So you didn't plan, you know. And so I took a bike. I said, Meka, where you dey? He said, they City Mall. I said, you don't perform. He said, you don't perform. I said, if I reach there, I will get a chance to perform. Emeka say, yes. That was how I took a bike from VI to City Mall. The anger of what happened there, when I heard the microphone, the people won't die. People, they fall from their chair. I'm saying it today, all thanks to God Almighty for giving me that strength, you know. And by the time I performed there, I was able to use that to tell myself, say, now that situation will favor you.
Yeah.
You understand me? It was a form of encouragement to myself. But then I had also told myself that if you had found yourself in this kind of situation again, would you be able to live above the expectation? And so I developed, like somebody wrote here, I developed my spontaneity. That no matter what, when I would have my call of force did this place, I'll familiarize with myself with everybody. Be humble enough to familiarize myself with everybody. So that when we are talking, even if we don't have a reason to, if I don't have a reason to crack joke, when we are talking, maybe because we are acting as friends, you have reasons to laugh. It makes the laughter easier. So it's learning within your environment, growing in the process, and getting better without feeling dejected.
Baba, thank you so much. We are full of wisdom. I'm sure those who are listening must have taken so much from you today. Thank you for sharing this experience with those that are up and coming. And thank you for celebrating Emeka Smith. In fact, when he came also, he was mentioning you from time to time. It shows the relationship is strong, and we pray it will keep getting stronger. So thank you once again. I'm sure very soon we're going to bring you back, and you're going to oblige us. My regards to the family, and have a wonderful evening.
Thank you.